Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we're talking about a pretty big one. We're talking about Mayor of Kingstown streaming on Paramount Plus. This will be a spoiler-free review of the first two episodes. And now, not everyone's got Paramount Plus. I think out of the big streaming services, Paramount Plus has kind of fallen on the back end of popularity. But the trailer's got like 7.4 million views. And I think it comes from the star power of the show. We got Jeremy Renner, we got Kyle Chandler, we got Diane Weiss, I think is how you pronounce her last name. So there's a big name values on a show like this. And I think a lot of people would go and get Paramount Plus just to see if the show was good or not. And so I'm here to let you know, my personal opinion, if I liked it or not. Before we go into it, please make sure to like this video if you end up enjoying it, and please make sure to subscribe if you're new, as we keep up with Mayor of Kingstown, a bunch of other shows and movies and reactions. And now let's get into it. So The Mayor of Kingstown is a crime drama focusing around a very important issue, which is America's prison system. It follows the McCluskey family in Kingstown, Michigan, where the business of incarceration is the only thriving industry. The family of power brokers between police, criminals, inmates, prison guards, and politicians tackle themes of systematic racism, corruption, and inequality. The crime thriller series provides a stark look at their attempt to bring order and justice to a town that has neither. Right? So that's sort of a lot to throw at you. The first two episodes don't go into the big issues of the prison system yet. It's a lot of just introducing ourselves to the character, which is what I always like to see in the first two episodes. Building up the characters, finding out the personalities of each and every single one of them. And so the first episode, we'll talk about the first one. This will be spoiler-free review, so don't worry. I really enjoyed it. I think it took a couple of minutes to really get its footing. It starts out and we're just thrown right into this town. We have to sort of figure out that, if you didn't read the description, like I just went into it blind. So if you didn't read the description, you think it's just like a normal town or city, but then once you find out how corrupt it is, how everyone's sort of connected, it gets really cool. And to see all that little interconnectivity with the politics is something that I really enjoy. When shows do politics shows, a lot of it is sort of played out nowadays. We've had politics shows since, before West Wing? How long ago was that? So I think the president politics is played out. But when I get to see politics in like a small town, I think it's really cool. And it's not played out at all. And a similar show that does that really well is Show Me a Hero, which is a limited series on HBO Max. Really great show about a city that's nearby me. I think that's why I love it too. And so this show, just to see, I think the small town feel with the politics makes everything feel more connected. The relationships between the gangs and the police and the prison guards, and now that the prison system is only sort of like thriving aspect going on in this town, makes a really cool dynamic for the whole show. And it just becomes a lot more personal than the politics you might see in like a government show where we're focusing on the president, where instead we're focusing on the mayor. I think it hasn't been done out yet, and I think it's really cool. And so my thought process for the first episode was that, like I said, it took a while for it to get its footing for me personally. It starts out, we're getting introduced to the characters. I'm like, okay, cool. We're not really diving into any sort of story yet. And it took like 30 minutes for it to really get going for me. There's certain scenes with like this really long like strip dancer scene. A couple things I didn't know like what was important. I was like, I could see this show not being good. It could be like a big name value show with a lot of big names, but then there's not really any substance. So I did get hints of that in the beginning, but there's one big shocking moment that happens towards the back end of the episode, maybe in the last 20 minutes or so. And it's this big, risky, ballsy move for the show to do, right? And it took me aback so much. And then everything after that, up until the ending of the episode, was phenomenal. It was riveting. I was engaged to a T. Jeremy Renner, you could really, it showcased his talent in that back half of the episode. For the rest of the episode, he was fine. He was good. But he could really show off his acting towards that back half. And it was really well done. Super good. And so that once that moment happened, that's when I was like, okay, now I see where the show's going. Now I see the trajectory of where the show could take us. And right then and there, I was on board. I was really on board. I was like, okay, this is going to be my type of thing. And I'm going to probably end up loving it. We'll see how it goes. But just, for the fact that I'm saying that even at the end of the first episode just shows how good that back half was. And so I can't really talk about the second episode too much without getting into spoilers. I will say that another big name actor that was in the trailer shows up in this episode, and that I wasn't even know he was going to be in this. So I was like, oh, wow, that's awesome that he's in this. So I thought that was cool. But, I think just the second episode was really well done. It's probably almost just as good as the first. The only reason why the first is better is because of that big moment. But the second episode really does a good job with the aftermath of what happened. But if I had to give my rating for the episodes right now, I'd put the first one like a 3.6, the second one like a 3.5. Only the first one isn't only higher because, like I said, that first half wasn't doing too much for me, but it was just trying to find its footing. If I go back and rewatch it, I could probably digest it better now that I know what's coming. And then the second episode was good. It had some good moments. There's this funny thing with Jeremy Renner that I see a lot of people are talking about that I won't spoil, but I think it's pretty funny that they went that route. And then it's so if I do an episode 3 recap and review, I will talk about the big moment that happens in the first episode. But it's ballsy. Like, it's so ballsy. I don't really know how to feel about it. Like, it's cool and I like it. But it's I'm not gonna spoil it. So that's all I'll say. But so on those first 2 episodes alone, I think it's a good start. 3.5 is pretty positive review. And this show could easily get to like a 4 to 5, maybe even higher, depending on the episodes. But I'm all into crime dramas, like I said. I'm all into the little town politics, if that's your thing. Just like the corruptiveness of the system. I think is always interesting. If you watch shows like The Wire, we get hints of like that in this show. And Jeremy Renner, his character is really well done. And if you guys have seen The Town with him, which is directed by Ben Affleck, he's sort of like that character. He has like this badass feel to him. And I haven't seen, that sort of side from him in a while. He's been doing a lot of Hawkeye stuff. The last big movie I probably saw him in was like Wind River, but that was like 2014. But I feel like that's what it feels like. Maybe I've seen him in something else before that. But it's really just been Hawkeye. So to see him in something else where he kind of goes back to his roots of The Town, I think it's really cool. And Kyle Chandler does well, great as well. And I don't even think we're in the meat of the show yet. Like, these first 2 episodes felt like introductions, but there's like this big character in the trailer with the girl, and I think her name is Iris in the show. And we haven't really been introduced to her yet, and she seems like a big part of the show. So I think once we get to her and meet her story, that's where the real juice of the show will come out. But let me know what you guys thought of the show down below. If you've seen already the first 2 episodes, let me know what you guys thought. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? I think the overall feels that everyone's been enjoying it. I think to some level, I think everyone thinks it's a good start. That's what I think too. Do I think it's worth getting Paramount Plus if you don't have it? I don't think so, not yet. If you don't have Paramount Plus, I would just wait it out to see what everyone's feel of the show is. If it's mostly positive and you really want to check it out, then go and get Paramount Plus if you want to put money into it now. But I don't think it's worth it right now to dump money into just this show if that's the only thing you're interested in. But if you have Paramount Plus, or if you have some other way of watching it, I do recommend at least checking out the first episode to see if you like it. If you're into crime dramas, if you're into the politics, if you're into like police, the prison system stuff, then this is right up our alley. Something that's sort of like stuff I really enjoy, especially the crime drama aspect. So, like I said, I enjoyed it. I recommend it. Let me know what you guys thought down below. Like always, if you haven't liked this video yet, please like it. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe as we keep up with Mayor of Kingstown. We'll see how this video does. If I think there's a small community, like I said, I will continue it. But if not, then I'll just watch it in silent. And then, because this isn't a show really where there's theories. I'm not going to go into theories. I don't really see a mystery yet. There's a little bit of mystery, but nothing to like dissect or something. It's not like Dr. Brain or even like Yellow Jackets where we could like make some theories about it. I think it's just like sit back, enjoy the ride type of show. But we'll see. So have a great rest of the day, and I will see you all in the next video.